Welcome to the Sales Masters podcast. This is going to be the hub for any professional out there who's looking to get to that next level within their business. Not only are they going to be dropping tips, but bringing in the absolute titans of industry, big names out there, like the people like David Meltzer, leaders of their industry. We're going to share with you exactly how they got there, the problems they faced, how they overcome it, so you can use them within your business. We're going to be dropping weekly gems that you can go off to help you get up to that next level. And we look forward to having you here on the journey. Welcome, guys. This is the Sales Masters podcast. And today we are joined by world-changing network marketing rock star, Fraser Brookes. Hi, Fraser.
Hey, buddy. It's a pleasure to be on here. I'm really excited about this podcast, and I can't wait to tune in from this moment onwards. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, I mean, watching people like yourselves, it just makes sense to do it. I mean, we were just talking a moment before we got on, and congratulations, 1 million downloads, which is no small feat. I think we're in a world now, aren't we, where people are used to big numbers, billionaires and trillionaires and this, that, and the other. And we forget about a million of anything is still a lot, right? Yeah. You must have been absolutely buzzing to get through that today.
Yeah, mate. It was, you know what? Like I've conditioned myself to get so far away from the kind of the vanity metrics, so to speak. But podcast just feels a bit different because you think like it's a download onto their device. So that's 1 million times something is being downloaded onto someone's phone. And when you look at the completion rates of podcasts, it's staggeringly high. So like to have like 1 million views on Facebook or 1 million views on Facebook Lives or YouTube videos, that's great. But 1 million downloads is even greater because the completion rate is just extremely high. So I'm grateful, man. And it encourages you to do more, doesn't it? And bring more value and serve the people who need serving. So yeah, it's a good feeling.
The big thing with this, and I say to a lot of people out there, it's the work, it's the effort. And a lot of people, everyone does it when they're enthusiastic, right? Mm-hmm. But it's that commitment is doing that thing we said we'd do after that feelings left us, right? And a lot of people, they give up. I was talking to a guy who thanks to the team for helping us with this podcast, but the amount of people that drop off after that first 4 or 5 episodes, life gets in the way and excuses come in. And I mean, you're pretty darn consistent, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, one of my favorite quotes for consistency is, if it's important to you, you'll find a way. If it's not, you'll find an excuse. And like, it served me so well over the years, like just so well. And like, you know, and I also think that people need to learn to decide once. Like, you know, you decide you're going to start on Monday. Okay, that's the decision gone. You've got none left. Like, and then Monday comes, oh, I don't feel so great. I think I'll do it tomorrow instead. Oh, that's 2 decisions. And I think people will have 1,000 decisions throughout a year, where the successful people, they have a small number of decisions that they make because they just commit to it, decide, commit, execute. It's as simple as that. And again, like, you know, you're at your partner at the altar, just about to get married, and they say, do you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife? You don't turn around and go, I'm going to give you a year. Like, and if you're not a great wife, or you're not a good husband at the end of the year, I'm going to sack you off and go find someone else. Like we don't say that in the moment, right? Circumstances can change in our lives, but you know, decide once is so important. But yeah, consistency is key to everything, and commitment as well.
I love it. Do you know, I just realized we look like we're in the same office.
I know, yeah.
With our walls. Anyone who's watching this back, so both me and Fraser have got literally the same blue, and it looks like we're next to each other in an office, and we're not. We're in different parts. You're in Dubai still, aren't you?
Yeah. We moved here about 15, 16 months ago. So we got married, and then about a month after we moved to Dubai. So in the height of the COVID, it's something that I knew that I'd be telling this time of my life to like my kids and future kids, and hopefully future kids, hopefully. And I just knew that I'd be able, if I could be able to say we got married and we moved continent in that same period, I think it'd be something I'd be proud of saying, instead of, oh yeah, don't talk to me about 2020, 2021. That was a nightmare. I'm like, best years of my life. So yeah, it's
with kindred spirits. I'm sure we are, because I set at the start of this year, I was like, right, everyone's moaning, everyone's griping. COVID's got me by with short and curlies. And I'm like, no, I'm doing 2 years worth of results in a year. I'm going, because if I'm at home, I've got no travel. I'm not trekking to London and to Birmingham and to Oxford and to here and all this stuff, which you always hated, right? And if we've suddenly got that, we have this opportunity in front of us. And I think people are just nuts. So I'm glad you've said that. So let's give anyone who for any reason doesn't know who you are, 300,000 plus customers through social media. You became a distributor in network marketing back in 2010. Your parents were big in the game, right? They're in 8 figures.
Yeah. They thought that that my dad come across network marketing. This was in the days where it was called multi-level marketing.
Right.
You know, network marketing goes for a rebrand every 10 years or so because people, give it by stigma. But, he thought MLM, he saw it in a newspaper advertisement and he thought it stood for Make Love Monthly. So he was like, Make Love Monthly, I'm in, calls the guy, not kidding.
Monthly.
Yeah. And he went to his presentation, for those people who know network marketing, like it, you'll understand the presentations. For those who don't, you have maybe a different idea. And it's funny because I've got a flip chart behind me. It's all behind me. But I was in the room at my mum and dad's first ever presentation in network marketing.
Literally destined to join.
Yeah, my dad told me you knew you were there because I was elbowing you in the head, saying if they can do it, I can do it too.
Got the speaker on the belly, letting those sounds resonate in.
Exactly that. So yeah, that's it's been great. It's been an incredible journey, and I owe everything to network marketing. But I also love to support other industries, especially personal development and the sales space and all that. But I really do stick to network marketing. We recently got approached to speak for companies like Oracle and these huge companies here in Dubai, but we turn a lot of it down because we're so focused on the network marketing. We support other industries, but we're so focused on just our one sector of the market that I'm super pumped about it because I just absolutely love it. Cut my wrists. Blood doesn't come out, network marketing does. So it's special feeling. I love it.
Let's touch on that for a sec if we can, because I knew this would happen. I send off a list of questions to people and I know it would just go everywhere, and I love that anyway. But this is the thing, right? Whatever we are going to do in our life, whether it's sales, whether it's network marketing, commit to it, right? Go all in. If you're going to become a shoe shine boy, right? Be the best damn shoe shine boy. If you're going to be in network marketing, commit to it. If you've got a foot in that and a foot in here, you're not gonna give it all the effort that's needed, because it takes effort, right? To get that plane off the runway, to get that traction, to get where you want to be. It's going to take effort. You're going to definitely get rejection. I mean, did you find that all of those things were just ingrained with you naturally because of the family, or did you have any sort of sides with that which you sort of struggled with it?
So yes and no. So I'm a massive introvert, and it's weird because if you meet me one-on-one, you'll see it. But I'm being fortunate and blessed enough to speak in 32 different countries. And when I'm on stage, I'm not introverted. I'm like the complete opposite, because it's the person I unlock. I'm the lion on stage, but the lamb at home, if that kind of makes sense. Yeah. But I'm very introverted, so I really struggle. But my big thing, I had 2 big problems. I was an overthinker. Right. And I kind of created this kind of cycle in my head, and I train on this: is the more you think, the more you doubt. The more you doubt, the less you do. The less you do, the more you think. The more you think, the more you doubt. The more you doubt, the less you do. And it kind of that was me. The second problem I had was I had a gigantic issue with belief. I believe my issue was I believed that I would never be good enough. So, and I think a lot of people, I think especially in the sales game as well, they don't have full conviction or belief. It's like you and I will say, go all in, play all out, commit to it. And they're like, I get it, but how do I know that if I go all in, it's going to pay off? Yes. And I was very, very blessed, very lucky. And I would say this is the biggest thing I was spoiled in. And that was that my dad knew that I had a lack of belief, and he gave me his belief. So I leveraged the belief that he had in what we were doing, he had in me, to therefore one day, after about 3 years of and I was living with the guy. So every single second of every single day for 3 years, 1,000 days, mate, 1,000 days. And that was it. That was it. After that moment, it was, oh my day. I believe with every single cell in my body that I'm doing the right thing. And if other people follow my frameworks, they'll get the right results as well. So yeah, overthinking and belief were the huge big things with me. And, I'm grateful that my parents were and it was hard to learn from them because you can be the rebel, right?
Ask, that's got to be tough, right? Because the same people that, let's be frank, you all get told off, was that little part of shut up, mum and dad. Rebel. But also they must, if they were just doing small figures, if they were only doing, say 50 grand a year, which isn't small figures, but we know what we mean, incomparable to doing, but they were hitting 8 figures. And if a smart brain, obviously, is going to grab that and go, hang on. Like if your dad was like Lewis Hamilton as you grow up now, you're like, all right, well, he's sort of, I've got to go with this, right? Because he's clearly got a good idea of what the hell is going on. So was there those fine lines, or did you find yourself going off sometimes and being like, I don't want to listen to them. Well, I better listen to them.
Oh, mate, for sure. When I started, and I would say an apprenticeship with him, like I wasn't involved, but I wasn't involved like as a distributor, but I was involved in like the whole process. I wanted to figure out how it all worked. I realized very quickly that when he said, Fraser, you got to come to this event. I said, when is it? He said, Friday night and Saturday night. I said, Friday night, Saturday night. No. That's when I go out into Liverpool. Like, that's when I go out with my friends. He said, okay, you got to sacrifice what you like to get what you love. So are you going to sacrifice this? Yes or no? And I was like, no, I'm going out with my friends. Like, he was like, okay, strike one. And he never told me what strike one meant. Like, he just said strike one. I was like, well, he said, you'll learn it later. And I never got to strike 3 because I was scared of what would happen. Yeah, I did. Got strike 1, strike 2, and then I didn't dare get strike 3 because I was so petrified of him saying, you've had your chance. Go learn from someone else.
Did strike 2 come from him offering you another chance, or by you asking? Did he not mention it again until you approached him and then you got it?
Yeah, he was like, right, next event is, and that was like, I remember saying, no, I'm going out with my friends. And he was like, okay. So your loyalties lie with that. So you want the royalties of beer every for the rest of your life.
Friends over future.
Right? There we go, mate. And he always would say, like, I'll show you a whole new world of friends, like a whole new world that you will never even imagine. You'll still love your friends, but you'll use the different friendship groups for different reasons, right? And you say use them, like you serve them, they serve you, and it all works. But yeah, I remember getting strike 2, but I was more serious into the game then. And yeah, I just didn't dare because I was so scared. Hang on, I won't be able to find a mentor better than this. And if I do, I don't have the money to be able to pay for it.
Yeah, you're going to be paying a lot.
But honestly, mate, biggest thing I was ever spoiled at was mentorship. And I just, if I look at the moments where I haven't had mentorship, those are the years that I've struggled.
Yes.
The most.
Because you're trying to find answers, right? We're trying to find answers to stuff we don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
We're trying to find solutions for problems that we can't even look at. Like we're trying to the way I just say is like, I imagine like we draw a path up to this day. And without a coach, you're trying to guess what that path looks like. With a coach, they draw the path out, grab you by the hand and go, watch out for that rock. Watch out for that bit. Right. Yeah. And a lot of us, we spend our time in our lives going the day to day, right? And you must see this with the network marketing stuff. And then the progression slows down. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, but we only half bake our cakes. So we end up with just some sloppy mess. And we're like, I worked really hard. No, you didn't. You did a lot of activity, but you didn't produce. You weren't like, you were dialing my phone number, but doing a digit wrong type of thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's true. It's so true. But I'm a great, what I do every single month. I do it every single month. So I average it out over the year. Is I take the monthly income that I generate, divide it by, and I track all the hours that I work. Although it doesn't feel like work, I still count it as work. Yeah. So I divide that. So let's say $10,000 a month, and let's say I've done 200 hours, right? So then I know that my hourly rate is $50.
Yeah.
But then whenever I'm looking at mastermind groups or mentorship groups, and then I think, okay, it's going to be a $10,000 investment, a $30,000 investment, a $50,000 investment. I go, all right, well, if it's a $50,000 investment and I'm currently worth $50 an hour, then it's $1,000 like hours for me, really. Am I going to get 1,000? Am I going to get 1,000 hours back if I do this mentorship? Like, and is my hourly rate going to increase as a result? If the answer is yes, I don't hesitate. I just, bam, I'm in. And I think too many people, they think, all right, well, I paid 10 grand this month, so I've got to get 10 grand back the next month.
Yes.
And I think that's a problem because of the modern day ads. There's the hooks and there's the stories and there's the offers and all these great things. But I think we need to be a little bit more real and start teaching people, if you get paid for mentorship, yeah, you're going to shortcut the process, but it doesn't mean it gets shortcut to 3 days, no. Right? It gets shortcut to a reasonable level of depending on your skill and your work ethic. So that's something I do every month. And at the end of the year, I really know my time and my value. And then it gets really crazy. Like, I've not cooked since I've been in Dubai. Because I've realized by the time it takes me to go down to the bottom floor, to walk to the supermarket, to buy the food, to walk back, to come up, to cook it, to clean, it's significantly cheaper for me to order from a restaurant.
Can we add on that for a second for anyone watching this back as well? If your mindset now hears that and goes, that's so lazy. Your hourly rate isn't where it should be, right? If your hourly rate, for example, you're not a lazy guy. You've just said a minute ago, if I work out my hours, I heard what he said, 200 hours. That means he's working 50 hours a week and he's making good money. A lot of people aren't doing that. A lot of people are only doing 35, 40 hours a week in a job. But actually, if your hourly rate, if you know you're earning 10 grand, right, a month, what's that? 270 something pound a day. So if you know that you've got a choice, I could do an extra hour's work now that could get me A, could get me B, could get me C, and have something. I use meal prep now, and I want to lose a bit of weight and it's healthier, but purely convenience, because it's for cooking, it's for buying stuff, for cooking, the washing up, for using a dishwasher, whatever else it'll be. And all of that time, same as I have a cleaner, because I'm not actually in my flow in the day. Her coming in at 11 till 1, right, doesn't break my flow. So I get up at 5:40, I start kicking ass at 5:45. By the time she comes in, I'm like, right, I need to go and have a quick coffee because I need to get that. Then I'm back onto it an hour later, right? And we've got to know that. And anyone who's watching this back now, if you're thinking this sounds like an expense, it's because you wouldn't take the time that you saved from cooking or cleaning. You'd go and sit in the park, or you go to the pub, or you'd have a nap. I imagine you've spent a lot of time laser beam focused, and you suddenly look at the clock and the whole day's gone, but you've produced a load of stuff, right?
It's crazy that the first like 3 years, it was 80 to 90 hour weeks, like easy. And, you know, and it's funny because I have a quote: in the beginning, you do a lot for a little, and in the end, you do a little for a lot. Yeah. So I realized that it was 80-hour weeks and it wasn't paying off. And those are the most frustrating days of my career. And then I was spending even more time and it was paying off a little bit. And I was like, it's not moving fast enough. And now my hours I'm noticing year by year when I average it out, my hours are coming down and down and down. But the income is going up and up and up because I've created leverage with systems, automation, and all that fun stuff. The hourly rates now are staggering. It's absolutely staggering. So it's it's crazy. You know, I feel like Coldplay sometimes. Like, you know, you speak at an event and it's half an hour and it's a big payout, and I'm thinking, all right. But I'm not getting paid for Fraser Brookes. I'm getting paid for the success and the achievements that I've had over all that time. So, you know, it's always. But
then it's a bargain, right? And this is the thing. I think so. Say someone hires you now, and they pay you X amount of money, but you're going to talk to 1,000 people, and they know out of those 1,000 people, 300 people are going to do absolutely nothing. 300 people are going to do a little. 300 people are going to do a lot, and 100 are going to kick ass. But 100 that kick ass more than pay for the idea of you being there.
Oh, yeah, right? For sure.
In the same way, what I do now when I get brought into a company, and someone has said to me before, what do you mean they pay you 50 grand for a year? I'm like, well, what do you do? And I'm like, well, it's a couple of hours a week. But we've got one of our clients at the moment. We've taken a guy from doing $200,000 deals and turning deals into 700,000. Nice. One deal pays for me for a year, right? And then you've got 8 of them. And then you think, so then, and a lot of the time, I think in sales, for anyone who's watching this or anyone who's doing network marketing who knows Fraser, we've got to work out where our value lies and then put ourselves in that place, which must be one of the big things that you see in the network marketing, because a lot of people are fishing in ponds where the fish aren't, right? They're scraping on barrels, or they're not looking with the same glasses you've got on. Do you find a lot of that?
Yeah, I think one of the great things about network marketing, but also one of the problems, is that when you join, you get free mentorship. So people don't value their own time, and they don't value other people's time. So this is a classic. Hey, Fraser, have you got 5 minutes free, or are you free for 5? And you're like, yeah, sure. And you're on the phone for an hour and a half. And people don't realize that if anyone contacts me now and says, are you free for 5 minutes? I'll be like, 5 minutes for free. Like, it's not that I'm going to charge for it, but I want them to know that, like, hey, like,
yeah, no. It needs to be.
It's worth, yeah, right, and it's worth it. So network marketing has a bit of a problem with that, because I think you then just spend all your time with everyone, and there's no filter of knowing that. Hang on, and this is one of the tips for, I think, anyone who runs some sort of team or works with big organizations, especially in network marketing, is whenever you give some advice, give them an assignment to do, and they're not allowed to have another call until they finish that assignment. And I think you will cut out 80% of the people who are just wasting your time. So yeah, it's something that I had to get over, because I was the mouse. My dad said, you're going to get walked all over if you don't cut this out. Because he's like the Simon Cowell of network marketing, like brutal, but some people love him, some people hate him. And I loved him, my dad. Right? Yeah. But it's so important. It's so important to have it. And I used to really be put off by it. I love my dad, but like, I was like, Dad, you're being too strong. And he's like, watch what happens to the people who take it, and watch what happens to the people who say they don't like it.
But I think there's a room for both now. I think we live in an amazing world now where I think your way of doing things has actually got a lot wider audience where people are more open to, because everyone's looking now. I love the fact, by the way, we had a whole list of about 50 questions, haven't touched on a single one yet.
Sorry, mate.
No, listen, I like this. And this is what we want it to be. When we talk about the whole idea behind the Sales Masters podcast is to bring real conversations and help people to go from good to great. And this type of real conversation is exactly what people need. I mean, with that in mind, do you find now, if we're saying personality types, I talk a lot about buying types and the different personalities, you guys must do quite a bit on as well. Do you find that people struggle with selling to different types of people, or do you try and get people to more focus in on find people just like you and move into that margin? How does that work with you guys?
Well, a lot of people don't even get to that situation because they lack the belief. So, and don't forget, in network marketing, we're selling and promoting other people's passions, ideas, and babies. So like, it's not like I've written a book. This is amazing. Here we go. It's, I've got this product that I want to promote. I've heard it's amazing, and other people are getting results. Like, would you like to give it a try? Right? They say, like, would you like to give it a try, or would you be interested? And the language is different, because I think the conviction levels and the belief levels are so different to when you have your own product. But the people who've been using the product and have emotional benefit, they'll tell the world as if it's their own product or their kid's product, even stronger. But yeah, no, I think that is the situation with a lot of people. But when it comes to like social media, we teach, talk about what you love, and the people who love that topic too will come to you, and you have a conversation with them, and you just bring it up. Hey, I might be way off here, but I'm just curious. Would you be open to checking out some information on a life-changing way that's helped me with blank? No worries. If not, just thought I would ask. And since we tested the, hey, no worries if it's not for you, since we added that into the kind of the sales script, the opening script, that asked the question, the results improved because more people were saying it, because they felt, oh, okay, so that gives me an easy out.
Yes.
Right. So that works really well. So again, I would say it's probably a different sales language to what I had been brought up on, like maybe in like the 90s and the noughties, but that because we teach it all online. We don't really do the face-to-face sales stuff. It's all online. So it's a lot of cold market, no cold calling, but create the content to attract the people like you, have a conversation with the people who are like you about the things that you both like, and then ask, like, just pivot. Like, it doesn't matter if you're talking about golf and then you want to try and sell them an iPhone. It doesn't matter, because by that time there's already that level of rapport and understanding that you're very similar, and maybe if it's helped you, it might help me too. So yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, and it is. And something you said there, which is really true, and I think it's really accurate with a lot of stuff, is how sales, selling, marketing, negotiating, networking is just evolving now. I mean, I use Clubhouse as an app, and that's been amazing for me. I mean, that's grown to sort of 15,000 since January, and it's just great because I will go into, I'm quite happy doing role play. Like, someone's like, do you want a role play? I'm like, yeah. So I can jump into a role play room on Clubhouse. I did one yesterday with in a real estate room. I don't sell real estate. And the guy literally went, who wants to do it? And my brand on there is the sales angel. And he's like, this American guy's like, well, we've got a guy from the UK over here, the sales angel. Let's see how kick-ass he really is. Nice. So I'm like, right. So it's on then, but that's the point. We either thrive or we shy away. So I'm like, hi. First off, I don't sell real estate. Second off, I'm up for it. What are we selling? And the guy's like, you don't sell real estate? I'm like, no, but here, anyone who's listening back to this, there is a ploy behind that. One, it gives me an out if I screw it up. Two, if I get it right, I seem like I'm amazing. Now, I'm fairly confident on what I'm going to be able to do. I believe in my skills. I know that I'm trained and tailored, right? So the guy's like, I'm not going to go easy because you're English. Terrible accent, by the way. So this conversation goes on. We go and bang, 25 minutes later. And the idea behind role play is everyone knows themselves. It's about making it as realistic as possible, but tough. So there's no hanging up and this stuff, which, I mean, would you go as hard as you go on role playing? No, but I believe the Spartan creed of sweat more in practice, bleed less in battle. The harder you train, the better you're going to be. And off the back of that, we get like 15 different inquiries of people going, just heard you randomly come into a Clubhouse room with 250 people. You don't sell real estate and you kicked ass against the people who did. And you've got to be pretty prepared to shine, right? Whether that's building solid relationships in the new way of doing things, or going hard in the old school and going, right, if you want to learn how to sell, this is what I can do. Like going really full on with a personality, but whatever it is, it's the same, right? It's owning who you are. And why do you think a lot of people don't do that? Do you think it's because they don't know who they are? Like deep down, it gets all deep, or...
I think, again, they don't believe that other people share that same passion, or they don't believe that people will be interested in their opinion. And like what you just mentioned there, you either serve through curiosity by piquing someone's curiosity, like, oh, that sounds good. Yeah, maybe that would be for me. Or you just serve through value, like what you did on that role play. And I think that's the thing, and that's what we teach. We go serve first, like serve publicly, sell privately. Like on the social media game, like you serve, you give value, Clubhouse, your podcast, your Instagram, your Facebook, your YouTube, serve. And the conversations you have in the messenger, whether you're reaching out to the people who are watching, tuning in, commenting, or they're reaching out to you and you're selling them. But I think a lot of people, they have a massive lack of belief or clarity on whether things are going to actually pan out for them with what they're talking about. There was one guy. He came to me, such a good guy from Liverpool. Just, and he doesn't mind me saying, like, just an average lad, because I'm the same, right? We're just just ordinary people. Just a good guy. And he says, Fraser, you always talk about like finding your niche or your niche if you're listening in America, whatever, right? You find your niche and all this, and mine's a little bit weird. And I was like, all right. He said, like, am I okay if I share it with you? You're like, you're not going to laugh, are you? And I was like, yeah, go on then, mate. Go on. I always say you can have one or two things. Like, there's action comedies, there's like, romantic comedies, but it's very rare that you see a romantic comedy, adventure, sci-fi, horror, drama. It's one or two things. So he said, my first passion is women. And I was like, all right, mate, well, like, you probably got close to half the population probably are going to be interested in that. Like, what's the second? He said, he's promised you're not going to laugh. I was like, no. Tell me. He said, lamps, I want like what kind of lamps? He said, like, any kind of lamps, like desk lamps, bedside table lamps, like, lamps, just all lamps. I was like, okay. I mean, mate, that is a little bit weird.
You weren't, yeah. How long would it have took you to guess lamps? You'd have been there a long time if he told you.
Would have been there 3 lifetimes, right? And he was like, I was like, so I'm thinking about creating a group called Women Who Love Lamps. And I'm like, yeah. So we ended up calling it Lamp Lovers. Now, all it was a Facebook group. And in 13 months, it hit 1 million members in the group.
Stop it.
Yep. It went nuts. He created T-shirts, merchandise. He created, and now don't forget, guys, like for those listening in, what could you do when you have 1 million members in a group? Nice. You can then charge money for people posting. So he turned the approvals on, and women were now reaching out to him saying, hey, can I post in the group? Here's an affiliate link, or can I pay you? Because they were leaving their Instagram handles. And now there are all these women paying him money. He did very, very, very well. And that is with something that you would think, we just said, we would have spent a lifetime trying to guess lamps. And he had 1 million members in the group. And it was just staggering. So any niche works. You just got to, as you said at the beginning, you got to commit to it. You got to make that decision. You got to commit to it. But I just think so many people just lack a serious level of belief in the thinking, like, no one's going to be interested in my perspective. I would look at other people's perspective before I book a hotel or a holiday. I'll go on. Yeah, I think like if I see like on hotels.com, 5-star, like the Guardian, the best place to stay in 2019. And then I see a lad called Bob from Manchester is like the pillows were shit and the service was crap. I'm not staying there. I believe Bob more than I will the Guardian.
Do you?
Yeah, only because I like real people who talk straight. Not like, because hotels.com, they're not going to put 1-star, worst place ever. Like, so yeah,
they're not going to use that as a promotion, are they?
Yeah. So I really like that. So we will spend, when we're booking places, we will spend time looking at the reviews. But every 1-star we look at, we always look at a 5-star. It's kind of the rule. Otherwise, you can just look at the 1-stars and be like, no, rubbish. I'm not staying there. Right. So yeah, well done. Shout out to Bob from Manchester for the honest
review. Bob. I love it.
Come on, Bob.
Up the Bobs. Yeah, let's jump in a couple of questions because I had like 25 and we haven't touched on any of them. But I do thank you for coming on today because it's interesting to see him. And the idea behind this is to bring skills, bring different points of view, but also to let people see behind it. Because there's a couple of people I know, the States from Clubhouse, Brad Hager and other people, but we're really big in network marketing. Like they were sort of spent their careers there. And I think it's fascinating hearing it. And I think there's always perspective. And I'm always, when people moan about perspective, I have people who say, sales, what, you're like a second-hand car salesman? Well, it's a pretty broad spectrum, right? And network marketing gets exactly the same thing. Now, that's always going to be there. Why do you think people start in network marketing, but then use that? Because they must use that as a cop-out later for not committing. Right? Mm-hmm. Oh, someone said to me this or someone said that. Do you think they just go into it with eyes closed, or do you think they were looking from an out at the start? Because I know my thought in sales, I think a lot of people don't want it to work. They almost find reasons for it not to work. Yeah,
before they even join, they're saying it's not going to work for me. I'm not that kind of person. Like they made their excuses already, but people also listen. One thing I've learned about life is closed-minded people open their mouths the most.
Yes.
That's what I've learned. Like I've learned that so quick. And when they get started and they tell one person, their mum, their auntie, their sister, their daughter, their uncle, I have got involved in this network marketing thing. They'll go, oh, you haven't. No, you haven't got involved in that thing, have you? Like, you doing sales? Come on, behave yourself. And they go, oh, really? Now, their Uncle Bob, this is a different kind of Bob. Their Uncle Bob is saying,
no offense to the other Bob. Great work.
Yeah, we love all Bobs. He's in the pub every single night. Like, he's in the pub every single night, giving no value, not going anywhere, no progress. But they listen to that because they want to. They're like, okay, this gives me an excuse. Okay, they're validating that I am not good enough. That's right. So that's one of the problems. I think the second problem is, and I'm gonna call out network marketers on this one. And obviously network marketing is in my veins, but the network marketing profession needs to level up, and it needs to be seen as a legit profession. The thing is, it was created to make housewives $200, $300, $400 or pounds a month to help them get by and, be able to go to the salon guilt-free, which shouldn't even be a thing. They should be able to go to the salon, but they're guilty about spending the money because they come home and the husband goes, "Oh yeah, I can't believe you got a new haircut. You didn't need it. It was nice as it was." Right. So that's a problem is understanding that we have an industry full of people who don't really want it to be a profession. They just want it to be a part-time thing. So there's this balance of like, it's not a professional industry, but realistically, the people inside of it don't necessarily want it to be a profession because they just want to make a few extra $100. And you're not going to get a lawyer who's like, "Oh, I just want to do one will a month and make $200 a month, $300 a month." It's just not a thing, is it? So those are two of the main problems. The stigmas behind it mainly come from people who want to talk about things that's got attention. And I think anything that's anti something is huge. Anything anti Donald Trump, huge conversation. Anti sports, huge conversation. Anti like fashion, huge. Everything anti anything is just huge conversation. So we're living in a world now that people will talk about things that get so much attention just for the sake of getting attention. They'll talk about...
Sorry to interrupt. Do you think the reason people like the anti-conversation is because you don't have to have a knowledge on it?
100%.
Because if I want to justify why I am pro X, right? X politician, X sport, vaccine, whatever the thing is in your life, if you want to explain to someone who doesn't believe that you believe, you have to explain why. But as a negative anti-person, all I have to say is, "Don't like it."
Yeah.
So it's very easy to go, "Don't like it," right? But if someone says, "I like it," people are like, "Well, why do you like it?" And people feel obliged because people are not used to just committing to the positive without explanation.
Yeah. And I think, you know what, I'm probably one of because I've always been taught leaders of any industry have to stand up for what they believe in and kind of fight the enemy. But I'm a little bit, I totally agree with that, but I'm a little bit different because if someone comes at me and says, "I don't really like network marketing," I'll actually have a conversation in terms of like, why? And they'll be like, "Oh, because only the people at the top make all the money." And then I'll do my best to try and educate them, because one person who doesn't like it, who then gets educated, then stops telling everyone else that they don't like it. So I'll be like, "Well, listen, like everything in life, the person at the top is usually the person who gets the most money, the most successful, the CEOs, like the head of the military. I mean, I know the religion doesn't have like the money kind of thing, but the Pope, everything is a pyramid hierarchy. So like, let's quit with that conversation because it's a load of rubbish." And they're like, "Oh, blah, 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 blah." Then they just want to fight for the sake of wanting to fight. Like, but the people who are like, "Oh, yeah, okay, no, I see where you're coming from. It's not for me, but all right. Thanks for letting me know that." That for me is a good use of my time, because it's one less person that will start talking crap about a profession that I absolutely love. But at the same time, they also think that network marketing is all about money. But the majority of people who join network marketing, they find a friend, and this sounds crazy, but they find a friend. Now, 1 in 4 Americans do not have a friend. 1 in 4 Americans do not have any friends. So joining network marketing, they might not make money, but they found a friend, they found a community, they found a voice, they found belief. It stopped them from doing bad things. Second one is they grow. They might not make any money from network marketing, but they go on to be an influencer, or they create a cooking brand, or they do this or they do that. And the third thing for me has been the big one for me is they got confidence. They got confidence because they figured out something about themselves, or they realized that they could actually do something. So it gets a bad rap because it's not just an income opportunity, which it used to be called years ago. It's an income opportunity, second income opportunity. So I think people just need to understand that a little bit and just give it a little bit more credibility, because it's a huge, and it's $250 billion in 2020, which is just absolutely massive. So yeah, and it changes a lot of people's lives. But
I love it. For me, I think anyone who goes out, puts himself out there, is prepared to go make the effort, I absolutely love it. I'm fascinated with any different types of industries in and around, especially with that involves sales, selling, marketing. I think
Yeah.
There's such a wide range. I'd love to know, like, sort of delve into it more, or get into one of those big. I was talking to someone about 6 months ago. I was like, I'd love to get into a network marketing, really get some people in and train them, because there's such a good vibe about it, right? When you help and you see results in people, and you see them go from. My favorite one is when I get someone who's a client, and they go through and I say to everyone, there's going to be a point after the first 5 or 6 weeks, you're going to go, I don't like you, Dave. Like, you're pushing me too hard and this. And then when we come out on week 6 and you start smashing it and you hit your first 10 grand month, or you double your sales, or you don't do this or that, I get the phone call and it's literally, Dave, I've just done that. What you said with the Halo product. Then I've done the upsell. They've only got to done it. I've just made 4 grand. And you get a high pitched thing. And that's the thing, right? To take I'm making $1 grand a month to I'm making $1 grand a day.
Yeah.
When people go to that stage, and then people you're like, yes, this is what I do it for. This is why now the podcast and the whole idea behind the Sales Masters podcast is I want to impact more, bringing people like you on, bringing other great people like Spencer Lodge and Darush, so many great people coming up in this. Right, let me fire into some questions with you, because I'm going to run out of time and I won't have asked any. Go back in time. You're 18. You can chuck them 3 bits of advice that they would actually take, not they go, thanks. Cheers, Granddad, because that's the way we look at it now. What would be the 3 things that you would change about you if you could just implant that in their head?
Messy action is the winner in this game. I would say number two would most likely be figure out what's important and find a way to make it happen instead of finding the excuse. And I think the third one is the people who are trying to pull you down are already below you, so ignore them. I think those are my big problems, right? Those are the big problems that I had. I mean, I could list quite a lot. Do it now. Don't mess about. Like, create content, document. My biggest regret is I don't have any content from when I started, and I'm a completely different person to the person I started. I was. Like, I do this presentation where I'm like, yeah, lose. I just hold my hand up on my head for like 15 minutes whilst I'm talking. But yeah, those are the 3 things I would say.
I love it. Right, we're going to fire through some of these to get some quick answers, because I want to make sure people are coming out and they're getting a good value out of the back bits as well. Right, let's go into biggest lesson you've learned in sales or business that you'd love someone else to learn without going through the misery.
Well, the network marketing on social media, because that's like my space, is what we spoke about before. Like, publicly, serve publicly, sell privately. It's the key. It really is the key when it comes to this game online. Is people who serve will make so much more money. Then again, if I always use like a cupcake. It's not on the thing behind me, but 80% value niche, 15% lifestyle, 5% selling. When it comes to online content, but if you're not selling, you're not going to be winning in this game. But then you got to serve to build the list to be able to sell to. So, and in network marketing, we need a lot of sales, not like 5 or 10 a year. We need like a lot. So, build that list all the time, serve, and then sell. So, yeah, I
love it. If you weren't doing this, what would you be doing?
I'd be a construction manager in Liverpool.
Really?
That's what I got my degree in.
Oh, right, okay. I was going to say, if you got a degree or something, that's a really random choice out there. Yeah, I really always wanted to have it, but you want. I wanted to do. I always wanted to be a fighter pilot, right? I daydreamed of this all the time as a kid until I realised I was scared crapless of heights.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's the most ridiculous. I've done a skydive since now, but even though I still feel ill. But I'm like, this is the complete polar of what my body would have liked. And and I think sometimes you have this in life, right? We have a vision of what something's going to be. And the vision of what we think we want is very, very different, because the actual reality of what it is, like being a fighter pilot, you're involved in being a very small thing, flying through the air at a very high altitude. If you're scared of heights, it's definitely not going to be the vibe.
You're done.
Right. If you could have dinner with any 3 people, dead or alive, who would you choose and why?
Jim Rohn, 100%.
He'd be on mine.
Yeah, Jim Rohn is just like, if I could choose 3 Jim Rohns, no, it'd be Jim Rohn. Zig Ziglar would be number 2. And then I think I'd probably go with Bill Shankly, the manager at Liverpool way back when, because I would love to have just. I'm a big Liverpool fan, so that'd be like a selfish one, and just trying to learn a little bit about like how did you build like one of the greatest football teams ever. Not with the greatest players, but like the greatest team. So those would be my two. So Jim Rohn for personal development, Zig Ziglar for sales, because he's just a god, and obviously Bill Shankly from Liverpool. Just if I can get salty.
I'd love to ask you about this, and it's a great list of people.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about people like Zig Ziglar, we talk about Jim Rohn's, and when they read their story and how they come up and doing their apprenticeships, because they didn't have the internet. Mm-hmm. Like my granddad, come out of school, went and worked in a factory, there for life, wouldn't even have thought about doing something else, right? That was just the way it was, because there wasn't the opportunity. Yeah. Do you think that Jim Rohn and that, if we're really honest, not of them, not bad about them, do you think these greats that we see now, if they'd had the internet, would have left sooner from those roles?
Ooh, probably.
They probably would have, wouldn't they?
They might have left, because they probably would have. They probably would have had a team that would have condensed or cut up all their content, so they would not have come right. It's YouTube day. Or the other side is they might have done the other. They could have gone the other way, and they could have gone. Listen, I'm a bit tired of traveling around the world now. Let's build a studio. John Maxwell's done a really good job of that. Yeah. Let's build a studio and let's just broadcast more and more and more. So, in one way, yeah, I think they would, and in the other way, they probably wouldn't have got in front of people. And I think the problem with online content is it's a different feeling when you speak it in front of a room. Yes. Like when you're in front of like a few thousand people, and it's like, I'll never forget the day that, but everyone forgets the day when they're on a Facebook Live. Oh, I watched 15 Facebook Lives today. I've watched 4 YouTube videos today. That was good. But like, so I just think Jim Rohn to me is just, no, if he hadn't done what he did, there wouldn't be a lot of him. The ripple effect would have been very, 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 very
massively.
There would have been none. Yeah. So, yeah.
The impact that those people have had, there's no way they would have ever gauged it would have gone so big. Because the idea of the internet at that key time was, when you hear the old cassette tapes of Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, are in a room of 150 people or 500 people, they know that they're going to sell the tapes, right? But they never would know the millions, and like the idea of millions and millions of people hearing it wouldn't even have rung in there. Right, next one up there. Mm-hmm. What has been the biggest challenge you've come over the last year, and how did you overcome it?
I think working with a team has been actually the biggest challenge. It's been the biggest reward, but the biggest challenge. So we have a team, we have a sales team, and at the beginning there was a lot of churn. Like they're good, but they're not. We want them hit a certain percentage sales. They're not hitting it. Like we got to let them go, but we have to give them enough time to get used to it and get good at it and train up at it. But the time is we're like wasting all these leads. That was probably the biggest challenge. And then we basically brought someone in to train the team and manage the team. So like, it wasn't just me doing it. And that's been the best thing. And I think my mindset was no, because there's going to be all these fees and all these commissions and all this stuff. And it means that there's going to be pressure to generate more leads. And if we don't generate leads, people are going to want to go because they're not making what they wanted to make. And that was probably the biggest challenge. Because before that, it was just me. I was just going live and selling my books on lives and, traveling around and selling books and doing great. But since we brought in the sales team and got serious about selling to our leads and realizing we've got the greatest offer for network marketers, the best investment, it's a no-brainer. We should be actively selling it. So since we've done that, the business is 5x'd. So it's been great. So I think that was definitely the biggest challenge is understanding leverage and letting myself get out of the way. And then also understanding there is a bit of a transition period and it's going to be messy. And we're going to knock a few hurdles down and, might have a dip here, dip there, but long term, when I zoom out, I see like, whoa, this is good. This has been a good decision. So, and I'm so grateful because whenever I have the chance to pay someone, it always makes you think, if I wasn't paying them this money, like what else would they be doing? they'd be getting a job, so less time with their family, less time. I think they wouldn't be building the right skills, and so I'm very grateful. And one of my sales team is my brother, who was a taxi driver before. So he's a multiple six-figure salesperson now. So his life is completely turned around. So he's one of my favorite success stories. And it's not network marketing. He's selling on the phone.
I'm loving it. Favorite quotes?
Well, I've got a load behind me, and these are all my favorite ones. I would say the favorite one that I live my life is treat everyone like a someone. That's like one that I live my life by. It. But I would say make your success story louder than your excuse story. That would be the one that I would.
I like that a lot.
That's it. Yeah,
and it's ingrained for people, right?
Yeah,
it's habitual. People are just used to it.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's just key. It's key.
Right. What was one of my other great questions we had in here?
So many, by the way, on that list, guys. He sent a lot. It was.
I think it was like 25 questions. And do you know why I do it? I think with a lot of stuff out there, like we said earlier, my big thing is sweat more in practice, believe less in battle. If you're going to turn up and interview someone and don't have a wealth, like if someone puts me in front of Elon Musk, I've got a list of questions I'm asking, right?
Yeah.
In fact, if you don't have this type of stuff, opportunities pass us by. I mean, I think preparation is one of the key things that we miss out on. And if people get on a live and I'm just going to chew the fat, I want to do that. But at the same time, you want to get the best out of it. I want to see people come into this podcast go, that was full.
Yeah. Well, touching on that as well, I believe everyone gets a ridiculous number of lucky moments, like a ridiculous number. If you're prepared and you're doing the work, when the lucky moment comes, you don't know it happens, but your business just starts to grow from these points. And you look back and you go, that was a good moment. That was but if you're not, and you're waiting for the lucky moment to come, you miss every single one. And you're like, oh, I wasn't lucky. I didn't get lucky. Oh, it's all right for Dave. He got lucky. Like, it's all right for Bob. He got lucky. Oh, it's all right for Fraser. He got lucky. No. He's worked hard before the lucky moment come. I think it's just so important that people know that is you got to do the work before the lucky moment hits to be able to benefit from the lucky moment that comes.
It's interesting you say that, right? Because I see people about cryptocurrency. It's the easiest analogy you've got. 2011, I owned 10 Bitcoins. Now, I didn't buy them. No, it gets worse. I've
got a similar story.
I brought them not because I was impacted. Just the people I was with brought them. Like one of the guys spent 30 grand, like game changing, like life. Mine went up to 600, sold a couple. I eventually sold mine off at like 3 grand. I'm like, oh, but I didn't take the time to really look into what it was. I didn't bother touching them until about 2016. Listen, still done. Things have been okay out the back of it. But some of the stuff that's been in there, when I look at them now, I brought Dogecoin, that big meme coin thing. Oh, yeah. I had at one point, I put in $600 in like 2013 into it. And I sold them in 2014 at like 50 quid loss.
Oh, whoa, wow.
We're talking like silly money.
Yeah.
But I was in the right place. I was in the right time. I was exposed to the right information. But because I wasn't prepared with the mindset of how big it could be, it passed me by.
Right.
Now, I've got two choices. Look at that as a bittersweet thing. And, well, this went all right, and that'll be it. And now I'm ready for new things. Or I will use it. Now, I'm using this as a story now as an example of why and how to be open to other things later. Rather than wearing it as some people wear stuff like this as a badge of honor. Oh, yeah, so I missed out on being a billionaire. Blah, 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 blah. Right, if that's going to be your legacy in life, that's a problem. Right?
Yeah.
We've got to take that lesson and go, right, now I need to be doubly prepared for everything. And now anytime an opportunity, I'm like, right, write that down, go and look into that, right, go and look at it. So now I spend all my time looking for opportunities. And a lot of people don't take that time, right? You must see it all the time.
Mate, 100%. I have a similar story to you. It just wasn't a passion of mine. Like, I'm like, what's the point? Like, why have I even got these things? Like, very similar story, like same time and all that fun stuff. But I also then look at the other situation of, okay, I've learnt my lesson there. I'm not going to let it happen again. So I'm going to go get educated about what this is. And, I've still got a little bit in the in that market, nowhere near as much as I had back in the day. But, I then count that as a lucky moment. All my days, I'm so lucky that I got exposed to it so early on. I'm so lucky that I got burnt from my own fault. I'm so lucky that I've got the mindset I'm going to change it. I'm so lucky that I'm in the market before it's got to these crazy moments. And I'm so lucky that 90% of my family don't even know what it is. Like, so when it comes to that, so again, I think a lot of it's preparation, obviously, doing the work, messy action, definitely. And I think it's just conditioning yourself to just be a winner. Like, let's go. Like, I'm going to win. It might not be today. It might not be tomorrow, but this week I'm going to win at something. And it's something that we do with all our, we have like an inner circle group coaching. We've got I think 1,500 people in there now. And what we do every single Friday is they have to send in what their win of the week is. And anyone who says I didn't have one, it's like, no, you have one. Figure out what it is. Like, even if it's if you elbow it, when you wake up in the morning, you elbow side to side and you don't hit a wooden box, then you're alive. You're not hitting a coffin. So that's your win, if that's what it has to be. And it's just, that has helped a lot of people understand actually, no. And it also gives another level of accountability of okay, I've got no win yet this week. Let's go make this a good Friday. So I think the mentality is everything. Mindset is everything.
I love the fact of having these big groups. I mean, I'm moving now and I keep getting asked to go and talk to different groups. So I love it. Absolutely. Because I think being exposed to different audiences gives you a different mindset as well. Right. I know we said we keep this up to about an hour, and I'll probably talk to you for at least another week. So anyone who's listening to this now and for any crazy reason hasn't gone and followed you, where can people find you? Tell us about your book. Tell us what's going on. The floor is yours.
Well, if you're in network marketing, then I'd go check out my podcast, Network Marketing Ninja Podcast. If you're not in network marketing, that podcast will probably not make sense. So stick around on this podcast, obviously. And I would say if you're not in network marketing, give me a follow on Instagram. Again, I'm very heavy in network marketing. But I hope that, if you're on the fence about it, I can teach you a thing or two to maybe be encouraging about the industry. Because I'll tell you this, Tony Robbins, go to his event, the majority of people are network marketers. You go to these big influencers, a lot of them are invested in them. They're speaking with them. They're consulting with them. So yeah, it's a moving industry that's shaking very much. And you'll have at least one family member that will get massive benefit from the industry. So yeah, I appreciate you, man. I'm so excited about this podcast. Obviously, this is one of the earlier episodes. So super excited about it. It's going to be on my Alexa from this moment onwards. So every time I go in and through and past it, I'm going to be listening to you and the rest of the guests. And I encourage each and every single one of you tuning in to smash that subscribe, leave a 5-star rating and review. Take a screenshot of what's on your phone and just post it onto your Instagram stories. The most attractive people I know in the world are the people who are constantly growing and developing. So I appreciate you having me on, man. It's been really great.
Hey, thank you so much. And your kind words mean a lot. Anyone who's watching this, by the way, if you're not in network marketing, I will argue the toss. You still need to go, even if you're never going to do it. And here's why. As someone who articulates himself very well, whatever you are planning to do on your life, if you're a plumber and you want to become a great plumber, if you want to go off and you're a mathematician, if you're, a digger driver, at every point, we want to be articulate in a clear and concise way without sounding like an arse. Now, one thing Fraser does very well, he talks about the similar things in different ways consistently over time. And to have that as an ingrained, unconsciously competent skill is valuable. And if you're on this podcast now, you're in sales, you have a business, you want to learn to sell, you want to be an effective communicator. It's one of the key things out of everything else out there. So for that alone, you need to make sure you're following Mr. Fraser Brookes. Fraser, thank you so much for today. Guys, ladies, gents, however you identify, make sure you're tuning in or go and watch one of the episodes now, or go to thesalesangel.com and find out more details. Thanks, guys. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm so glad you popped by. If you've liked this, give it a share, subscribe, even give us a rate and review. Share it out to someone who knows, and I look forward to seeing you on the next edition.